You said you'd come. Now let's hope you're not too late.
So, following the events of Batman v Superman last year, we know Superman didn't exactly have the best of luck. But I'll tell you who did. This guy.
Christ!
I saw him.
Superman died. But of course, it being Superman, he's obviously coming back to life. And, I mean, he's the face of the DC universe as we know it. I mean, Wonder Woman may be taking that place. I mean the DCEU, the cinematic universe. Wonder Woman may be taking that place now. But for the past, 3 years since Man of Steel came out, it's been him. Just like the same way with Iron Man in the MCU. And I would use the term resurrected for him coming back, but it's Superman. He doesn't need resurrected, he just comes back to life when he feels he's had a good enough nap. And we know for sure he's coming back, as Henry Cavill has been spotted on set for a huge amount of the film. And also, he's being marketed for the film. He's on posters, for Christ's sake. Another reason is because somehow he used the Force to levitate the dirt off the top of the coffin at the end of Batman v Superman. But he's actually on set currently also for the reshoots with Joss Whedon. You know, the guy that made the first two Avengers movies. Yeah, that guy. Oh, that wasn't nice. But the question is, who is that mystery man at the end of the trailer who approaches Alfred? We all jump to the inevitable conclusion of it being Superman. Don't get me wrong, I do think it's him. I'm positive it's him. As a matter of fact, I will tell you why I am almost 99% sure it's him. And to be completely honest, this video is not like all the others. You see, I'm going to tell you why it is Superman. See, people? Originality. And if it's not him and I'm wrong, then I will go to my bedroom and binge watch a Netflix show I have no interest in whatsoever. Those two spooky booms you can hear before Alfred looks at his guest very much suggests it could be Superman. After all, Henry Cavill's portrayal of Superman has never had a soft landing. He likes to kick up mud, or concrete to better word it. And since the trailer dropped a few weeks ago, the speculations have broadened drastically away from it being Superman. Like Green Lantern, Martian Manhunter, Shazam, even Supergirl. And I must say, Supergirl is the last thing we need in the DCEU currently. I don't feel another Kryptonian is relevant or necessary. That is until after Flashpoint in 2020. Yeah, the timeline. Stupid timeline. Off. Although the green reflection in Alfred's glasses certainly suggests it being Hal Jordan or John Stewart, I do feel the reflection is too small and subtle to be a lantern. Alfred and the car would both be illuminated in some form by a lantern suit or ring, don't you think? I mean, if they were purposely trying to make us think it's a specific person, we would be able to tell. And also, smashing into the ground isn't really Green Lantern's style. Let's leave the ground smashing to Superman, shall we? Unfortunately, I am going to write Green Lantern off the guest list of Alfred's late night car fixing barbecue thingy. Although it was quite convincing after lanterns being mentioned by the narrator earlier in the trailer.
No protectors here. No lanterns. No Kryptonian. This world will fall.
But one thing though, notice how the dialogue is plural for lanterns and not Kryptonian. Besides a brief Easter egg in 2013's Man of Steel, Kara Zor-El, Supergirl, has not been heard of in the DCEU since, suggesting Superman is the only Kryptonian known to exist on Earth in the point in time this movie takes place. Although the hologram Bruce is looking at in the SDCC trailer is almost definitely Supergirl's, I think it's safe to check her off the list of Alfred's late evening mystery visitor also. Besides, how would she know who the fuck Alfred is, where he is, where to go, What the f? The next person the internet has been speculating all over is no other than Martian Manhunter. Now, although he's not the most famous character on the big screen, besides getting a bit more exposure on Supergirl the past few years, he is a huge character in their comics and a big fan favourite. And he played a huge role throughout a ton of comics, and especially Justice League ones. He plays a big role in Justice League. And it's fair to say it could be him. Looking at the shape of that weird head in the corner and the creepy silence the presence of this person has, it very much could be him. And he does have a red cape in some instances, and you know, it's very alien-like, along with what looks like a collar around his neck, which he also has in most cases. Unfortunately, my detective eye is going to write Martian Manhunter out of the equation also. He isn't really the most famous DC character to a lot of mediocre fans, or certainly the most interesting to them, I think. And I feel he doesn't really suit this film's direction, and isn't really relevant. And quite frankly, I think this is a bit of a subdued way to introduce him to the DCEU. So, Martian Manhunter is off the guest list of Alfred's party. But our last guess is a cool one.
Shazam!
Now, the reason Shazam has been highly suggested as one of Alfred's late evening guests is due to that red cape we mentioned earlier, which can be saw in the bottom right corner of the screen, which I believe is our blind fanisms spiraling out of control towards any character that rocks a red cape. So, I'm not going to speak about him too much, but you saw this one coming. He's off the guest list too. That's another thing. Think about it, you know, chronologically. If you think about it, Shazam is a 9-year-old boy. Why would he turn up at Wayne Manor to visit an old man? And why would an old man want a 9-year-old boy visiting him? I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that it would be a very underwhelming way for Shazam to show up here and debut for the first time in the DCEU. But with all of the fan favourite characters I've mentioned, it would be a pretty deficient way to introduce any of these characters in this film. I think having a similar incentive to Marvel would certainly favour DC at this point in their lineup of movies. But let's not get into Marvel vs. DC right now, okay? Save that for the Reddit forums, or whatever you're into, or just my comment section, or somebody else's comment sections. Do what you want. But nobody wants to go through Spider-Man 3 again. I won't eat my words, but I doubt Zack Snyder wants an overcrowded movie. I mean, I'm pretty sure he doesn't. With Joss Whedon on the scene now for the reshoots, I think that kind of reinforces the chances of an unnecessary clustered movie, and to sort of be a bit over-articulate and professional, I think finding a derivative between each character is key in an expanded cinematic universe, and each character should have time to develop before showing up in a film. With all these characters that have been somewhat developed already, and as critical as fans get, there is also a high chance people would not have the best reaction to the castings. That is if the Mystery Man is not Superman. We know who Superman is and we love him, but we could have amazing reactions. It's hard to tell, but following the DCEU's previous state, it may be varied. And although I think their castings have been superior to some of the MCU's, I mean, name someone better to portray Wonder Woman than Gal Gadot. Am I right? Come on, tell me. But who is it? Who is this man, or woman, Alfred came face to face with at the end of the trailer? I'm about to tell you. I'm going to start by saying who knows Batman's identity and who knows where Wayne Manor is. That's right, Superman does. And also the foreshadow of the word hope pops up numerous times throughout the trailer, which is a big signal. And we know that the S on Superman's costume in the DCEU means hope, and plays a big factor in his character's arc. And the correlation of hope in this trailer starts with a newspaper and one of the beginning shots on the ground that has World Without Hope as the headline, which is kind of suggesting a world with no Superman equals a world with no hope. But here is what clearly gives it away that this is Superman. Alfred's dialogue is very precise, and the way he speaks to his visitor is a dead giveaway. Take a look.
Now let's hope you're not too late.
Yeah, but your brain's really tying knots together now, isn't it? You see, you should have thought better watching the trailer, you idiot. Notice the way Alfred emphasizes hope, almost as if he is speaking to Hope himself. But I think fans have a way of overthinking and blowing references way out of proportion. This moment is perfectly set up to be Superman and has more hints in his favour than any of the other characters previously mentioned. The two loud sonic booms, the water rippling, the red cape, the location he shows up, and Alfred's dialogue. It's pretty obvious that this is Superman. And hey, he got to have the joy of having an evening visit to Wayne Manor to see his favourite Funnel Fairy Bottle Bar butler. That was cheesy.
Funnel Fairy Butter Bar, Funnel Fairy Butter Bar, Funnel Fairy Butter Bar, Funnel Fairy. There's nothing wrong with the mic.
Now let's hope I'm done rambling on about this, shall we? If you enjoyed this video, then be sure to subscribe and check out my blog to see some of these videos covered in more detail. Until then, I've been your host, Mr. Sketchy, and I'll see you next time.
I saw him.